stolen mocha. Even when coffee was first introduced to Europe, there were some who opposed the beverage. Medical men debated whether it was healthy. Women, who were not welcome in the coffee houses, objected to the amount of time their husbands spent there. These protests fell on deaf ears. Caffeine had already taken hold of the European mind. But owners of European coffee houses had a problem. Arab traders had an absolute monopoly on coffee beans. They made a profit on every cup of coffee consumed in London, Paris, or Amsterdam. It was a monopoly they carefully guarded. Coffee beans are seeds. If you plant one under the right conditions, you can grow a coffee bush. To make sure this never happened, the Arab merchants roasted their beans before they shipped them, killing the tiny plants in each seed. Then, in 1616, a sneaky Dutchman managed to smuggle live coffee plants out of Mocha, a port city of Yemen, which is where the term mocha comes from. He took the plants to the botanical garden in Amsterdam, where they were grown in a greenhouse. The Dutch made cuttings of the plants and rooted them in soil. Soon, they had several identical coffee bushes. Some of them were sent to a Dutch colony, the Indonesian island of Java. The Dutch East India Company successfully started growing coffee plants, eventually producing enough to establish a plantation there. And so, the stolen coffee grown in the Dutch colony was called Mocha Java. In 1714, two offspring of the Dutchman's stolen coffee bush were given to King Louis XIV of France. He had it planted in the royal greenhouses in Paris. A few years later, a former French naval officer named Gabriel de Cleux decided to try growing coffee in the French colony of Martinique in the Caribbean, where he lived. He claimed to have gotten a woman in the royal palace to steal a cutting of the king's plant, another coffee theft. After successfully rooting the cutting, de Cleux put the little plant in a glass box to protect it from the elements and brought it with him on a ship bound for Martinique. The crossing took much longer than planned, and the travelers ran low on water. Determined to keep his coffee plant alive, de Cleux shared his small allowance of water with it. De Cleux claimed to have nearly died of thirst at sea, but his sacrifice ensured that the plant made it safely to Martinique. There, the stolen plant thrived. By 1730, France's Caribbean colonies were shipping coffee back to Europe. Much of the coffee grown in the Americas today are descendants of that original plant smuggled out of Mocha in 1616.